Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel, and today we're looking at some firearms myths and the truth behind them. Since coming into my journey of firearms and guns and all things related to the firearms industry, I've come across some things that are false and some things that are facts. So I want to share with you some of those things that I thought were true and they're really not. Myth number one, silencers are whisper quiet. It's not true. It's not true. We watch all the movies. They shoot those 9mm and those Glocks, and they come out of the suppressor like a pew, pew, and that's not even the case. If you've owned a silencer, you know it is not whisper quiet. The truth is, silencers only reduce the noise, not eliminate it. They still sound like jackhammers when you shoot through them, which only keeps the decibel rating at about 120 to 135 decibels. So really, it's not even that quiet, but it does reduce the sound tremendously, but it's just not gonna be whisper quiet. Myth number two, guns go off when they're dropped. I actually believed this when I first got into the firearms industry, and I was always afraid to drop my gun. I know that's one of the rules, don't catch a falling gun. And in my thought process, it was because the gun may go off, and it still may go off depending on who makes the firearms. But we're in modern times now where we have internal safeties and the technology has been enhanced so much that when you do drop a gun, 9 times out of 10, it will not go off unless it's a SIG. Myth number three, hollow points are illegal. When I first got into the gun industry, I knew nothing about hollow points. I only knew about full metal jackets, and I didn't even know that was the correct terminology. But as I got more knowledgeable about EDC, everyday carry, and I learned more about using hollow points as opposed to FMJ, I learned that hollow points cause less penetration because in the moment of impact, or at the moment of impact, that bullet is going to expand. So it decreases the chances of overpenetration, hitting something that you don't want to hit. I do know, I think, in my research, that the only state right now that doesn't allow hollow points is New Jersey. And that's to a certain extent. I don't really know all the details, but do your research. If you are in New Jersey, make sure you know what you can and can't do. But for the most part, in the United States and almost every state, hollow points are legal. Myth number four, and my daddy told me this one. He said, you do not have to aim with a shotgun. And for a long time, I believed it. And some of you are probably gonna say, no, that's not a myth, Summer, it's true. But no, for real, it is a myth because you do have to aim. I understand that if you can just point it in the right direction, it's gonna spread. But what some of you don't know is that spread is not as wide as you think. Your aim still matters. At about 10 yards, the spread is only about 4 to 6 inches. So think about it. You still do need to aim because that spread is not as wide as you think. So myth number three, you still need to aim your shotgun and hopefully you hit your target. Myth number five, smart guns are very widespread. Now, I didn't know about smart guns until as of recent. I was doing a little bit of research and came across the terminology of smart guns, and I kind of did a little bit of research. And truth be told, they're still early on in their innovation, and so they're not as widespread as you think. There's still some testing and things that have to be done. And if you don't know what smart guns are, they are guns that only fire for authorized users. So some enhanced technology that many innovators are trying to put into play to make guns a little bit safer, but it's still early on in an innovation. If we're talking about futuristic guns, you know there's a lot of error that's gonna come with this. So I would just say pump your brakes. They're not widespread, but I do think it's something that's going to come in the near future. Everybody's got something to do. Everybody's trying to make this and that. So we'll just have to wait and see. Myth number six. I think this was the first myth that I found out that was not true when I first got into the firearms industry, is that the AR and AR-15 stands for assault rifle. That is false. A lot of your leaders and a lot of your friends think that AR stands for assault rifle 15, and that is far from the truth. AR stands for Armalite, and the 15 stands for the just indicating that it was the 15th weapon made by Armalite. Do your research and you'll know this stuff. It is not an assault rifle. We are not trying to assault anybody. So whenever someone says that your AR is an assault rifle, just kindly tell them, no, it is actually an Armalite rifle, and it was the 15th one of them to be made. School them a little bit, just school them a little bit. And myth number 7 is that higher caliber ammo can overpenetrate body armor. That is not true, because body armor is rated by threat level. Even smaller calibers like 5.56 can overpenetrate a lower level armor if it's not rated for rifle rounds. So you kind of have to do your research on things like that. Just don't go with the flow. Don't go with what people are saying. Make sure you do your research. So guys, I hope y'all enjoyed those 7 myths that I came across recently. A couple of them I didn't know, but in my research, I was just like, what are the myths out there that I should know about, but also find out the truth behind it. A lot of them I knew just early on in my gun journey and just making sure I researched and knew everything, but a couple of them I didn't know, and so I'm glad I'm sharing those with you guys. And if there's other myths that you know, drop them down in the comment section. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Until next time, stay armed, stay safe, and stay vigilant. Peace.